This is another quick video on how to use one of the tools from my rhinotools repository. This is about mortises and tenons. We're going to do a quick bit of really bad carpentry. We're going to build a tiny cabinet. So, let's start by assembling the top surface of our cabinet. Make a rectangle, put it at the origin, and we're going to make it 4 feet by 2 feet. Now, I know that I want the top surface of my cabinet to overhang the support elements, the sides and the fronts, by 12 millimeters. I'm going to be using 12 millimeter laminated plywood when I router this out. So I'm going to offset, select the curve to offset. We're going to go by 12 millimeters. There we go. Now, let's draw the front and the sides of this cabinet. I'm going to start by drawing the front surfaces. Rectangle. In here. $12 in. I'm going to take that. We're going to mirror it across there. There we go. That's a front surface. That's a back surface. Now let's draw our side surfaces. We're going to start by drawing our side surfaces perfectly in line with the front surface and the back surface, but once it's drawn, we're going to inset it like that. This is for reasons of aesthetics. Delete that. Mirror across here. This is now the top surface of my cabinet, also the bottom surface of my cabinet. This is the back, this is the front, this is one side, this is another side. And you're going to see why I did these insets in 1 second. Let's extrude some stuff. We'll extrude the front and the sides by 2 feet. Delete the original geometry. Select our cabinet's top. Extrude it by negative 12 millimeters. Delete the original geometry. And there you go. There's some really bad carpentry. Now let's give this cabinet a bottom. We'll mirror this. Oops. First what we'll do is we'll set our C-plane, O for object, align the C-plane to the front surface of our cabinet, select the top of our cabinet, and mirror it across the center. There we go. This looks like a cabinet. I'll put some legs on here later. No big deal. This is just to demonstrate the mortises and tenons. So, let's talk about mortises and tenons. Mortises and tenons are a way of joining two pieces of wood when they join at right angles. I'm going to hide the front of my cabinet, and I'm going to draw my tenons on this surface. To do that, I'm going to change my C-plane, O for object, and click here. My C-plane now runs along this plane, runs through this plane. We're going to draw a tenon on this surface. Now, you can be as precise as you want. I'm just going to draw a random rectangle right here. And then, I'm going to mirror that rectangle across the midpoint. I'm going to change my C-plane again. O for object. Whoops. Click. Here. Now our C-plane runs through this plane. I'm going to take these these tenons, and I'm going to mirror them across the midpoint. And now you can see I have the same tenons over here. Let's do the same on the top and the bottom. We'll hide this. C-plane, object. Click on this subsurface. Draw another random rectangle. Grab it. mirror it across the midpoint of this surface. Change my C-plane to here. Grab my two curves and mirror them across the midpoint. Now I have tenons represented as curves on the surfaces from which they'll be extruded. I'm going to show all my geometry, and this is where we get to use the fancy mortise tenon tool. I type mortise tenon. It asks me to select my positive object. The positive object is the one that has the tenons on its surface. I click on this, I select a negative object. There. Now it asks me to select the surface on which the tenons exist. That's this subsurface. And now I select the tenon curves. One curve, two curves. Now, the height point is how deep into the negative object the tenon goes. Now, you could go all the way out to the front surface of the cabinet, but we're going to have tenons that only go halfway. So now you can see we have a solid object with a little tenon in it. It's also been cut out of the negative object. These two pieces now fit together perfectly. Let's repeat this process for the top, back, and bottom. And there you have it. Our side of our cabinet now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tenons in it, cut into these surfaces, which have mortises to accept them. Now, we don't have that on the other side. We can do that very quickly. We delete this object, set our C-plane to the top here. We're going to mirror this guy across the center of the top of our cabinet. And then it's a simple matter of Boolean subtraction. Boolean difference, we're going to subtract from this, 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 and this. We're going to subtract with this. And now we should have tenon, tenons, mortises, 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 and we've done it. Now, one thing I like to do to this object is merge all faces, because the subtraction, all the Boolean operations that we did to get here, can create some pretty crazy surfaces. Hide this, and there we go. There's our object. The last thing we'll do is we'll use my lay down script to make sure that we can mill this object on the CNC router table. So, I'm going to run lay. Now, it's important with mortised objects that the negative space for the mortise be face up so the router can operate on it. So we'll click the outside surfaces. So these surfaces get put down. Boom, 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 and boom. And there we go. And now, here are our millable pieces. Ready to be pathed to go through the router table.